Ryan Elliott for ID Boxing. We've just concluded the weigh-in here in San Antonio. Eddie, no hiccups, ceremonial weigh-in, all good to go for world title action tomorrow night?
All good. You know, this is a card full of real fighters. No prima donnas, no moaners. We've had no drama this week. Everybody just excited with their opportunity and ready to get in there and fight. And I promise you, from top to bottom, from the opening fight tomorrow night, Jesus Martinez, in a really, really tough fight, to Mark Castro, to Khalil Ko, going into the main event as well. It is a brilliant card. Matisse against Cesna, Raymond Ford against Magdaleno, brilliant fight. Akhmadaliev against Tapale is going to be a war. And Jesse Rodriguez trying to become the youngest two-division world champion. So, brilliant card tomorrow night live on DAZN. Try and stay up if you're watching this in the UK and watch it. Honestly, it'll be a brilliant show.
Just a quick word on Bam. It's been a bit of a different Jesse Rodriguez this week. You mentioned the chip on his shoulder. He didn't like the criticism he had after his last fight. Do you think we're going to see a statement tomorrow night?
I want to see a statement. You know, I want to see him go out there, and we know he's got skills to burn. We know he's a tremendous talent. I want to see him go out and dominate this guy. You know, he's a mandatory challenger, Gonzalez. He's there on merit, but really, he shouldn't be on the levels of Jesse Rodriguez. I want him to go out, make a statement, and I want him to call out Sonny Edwards. And hopefully we can stop the talk on social media and get that fight on in the summer.
I was just going to come on to that. I was with Robert Garcia last night, and he'd obviously tweeted Sonny was kind of fed up with the whole narrative being fed. He's made it very clear that is what they want. What kind of timeline would we look at for that fight?
I think we look at July for that fight. Sonny's pretty much ready to fight. We were looking at a fight for Sonny in June if he didn't get the unification. But everybody's preference, including Sonny and Jesse and Robert, is to go straight into the unification. So why not? It's a brilliant fight. It's one of the best fights in boxing. So we want to make that fight for July.
It looks like quite a clear semi-final kind of thing we got going for an undisputed champion. Will you try and make Martinez Dillian on the side?
Definitely. Martinez will fight in Guadalajara on May 6th, and then we'll look to make him, maybe even on the same card. I'd love to do two unifications on that card, and then the winners fight the winner. And then by the end of 2023, we've got an undisputed world champion in the flyweight division, exactly what we should be doing in every weight class to find out who is the best.
So we're on Ray Ford, got a very difficult fight in front of him tomorrow night, as we spoke about yesterday, but he's been calling for the Lara Wood winner, but you said Josh Warrington will be awaiting them. Is he going to kind of have to accept if he wins tomorrow night? He might have to do a bit of waiting?
Yeah, I mean, look, Warrington is down for the winner of Lee Wood against Lara. We've also got the mandatory, Komatov, but, you know, there's a lot to sort out, but Ray Ford's a young man. If he beats Jesse Magdaleno, really there is no step beyond that other than fighting for the world title. So it's a massive fight for him tomorrow night. Jesse Magdaleno really believes he's far too good and experienced for Ray Ford, but I think Ray Ford's a special talent. You know, and he's from that same kind of gym as Shakur and Keyshawn. They're special fighters. They're the next generation of fighters in the United States, and I think you're going to see a shining performance from Ray tomorrow night.
Just a quick word on Khalil Ko. Had his issues earlier in his career, missing weight, and obviously results not quite going his way. Do you think we're seeing a more focused fighter now? It's maybe ready to be let off the leash a bit?
Yeah, for sure. He's a very good fighter. He's just got to believe in himself. You know, he punches very hard. I think, you know, you look at our American talent, Diego Pacheco coming through now, Austin Williams, just, you know, Ray Ford. We've got some great fighters coming through, and Khalil Ko is another one of those. If he can just stay disciplined and believe in himself, I think he's going to be a problem for the 175-pound division.
I'm doing Edgar Berlanga before. He says fight news is coming very soon. Where will that be and what kind of level?
We're going to hopefully announce Edgar Berlanga's next fight on the broadcast tomorrow. It will be in June. We want a guy that's, you know, mixed at world level, around the top 15 in the world. I think it's a guy who will be on paper the toughest fight of Edgar Berlanga's career so far. He's coming off a big layoff, but he needs to make a statement, and he needs to win that fight. Then he needs to fight someone in the top 10, and then he needs to start calling out those big names. So hopefully tomorrow night we'll announce the June date for Edgar Berlanga.
Joshua Franklin, you told us you wanted it to add 300 to 400,000 new subscribers to DAZN. I know it's early, but any indication of how well it's done?
It was a big success. I don't know the official numbers from DAZN. Everyone's very happy. Probably the lower end of that spectrum, but across Sky, obviously they have to collate all the data, across DAZN, across Virgin, across the other platforms, but a big success. And now we can really go forward with a brilliant schedule in April and May with big viewership as well, and that's the key to holding these big fights. Every time you stage a major fight, you know, you've got Canelo Ryder coming up, you've got Katie Taylor against Chantel Cameron, you've got Lee Wood, you've got Gervonta Davis against Ryan Garcia. It's all free for subscribers as part of their subscription, so you're going to see that viewership continue to increase. And now, you know, you sort of eradicate the other moan, which is, oh, there's not a lot of people watching. There was always a lot of people watching, but now there's even more people watching in the UK. And as I said, you know, the schedule is second to none.
We know Anthony Joshua wants that quick turnaround. I read some quotes from you before that Dillian Whyte is now the front runner. Has there been any movement on that fight?
Not really. I mean, we're still, letting AJ do his recovery. It's only been, 5 days since his fight. And then planning out to get him back in camp. July 22nd, July 29, the 2 Saturdays we're looking at in the summer. I think the Dillian Whyte fight makes sense. We'll sit down with him and his team, go through everything with the new training team as well, and see who's next for AJ in July.
Joe Joyce hasn't been short of a word or two about Anthony Joshua. He was on Sky a couple of days ago saying he feels he's ripe for the picking now, and he's kind of maintained he doesn't really think Anthony Joshua will fight him. Do you think that fight will happen at some point?
AJ's made it very clear the fights he wants, and Joe Joyce is on that list. He's sparred thousands of rounds with Joe Joyce. I mean, they grew up really learning the sport and competing on the amateur system, and it's a really good fight. And I think, there's no reason that fight shouldn't happen in AJ's career. I see him having anywhere between, 5 and 8 fights left. And 100% Joe Joyce will be in that. Whether that's the summer, I don't know. It's not really a fight that we've looked at beyond Dillian Whyte, because Dillian Whyte is part of, ultimately, the team. We can make that fight quite quickly. But we won't rule out a Joe Joyce fight. And I'm sure that fight will happen in AJ's career.
A word on Kell Brook. I know you met with him. What was kind of discussed, and has there been any concrete talks of a fight happening with him?
He wants me to put something together for him. I think he's flirting with the idea of fighting again. I think he's enjoying training. It focuses his mind, and I think, I felt that after the Amir Khan fight, which I thought was a good Kell Brook, there were probably a couple more left in him then, but he made the decision to retire. I don't think he's made a final decision on coming back, but if the money was right and the challenge was right, I think he'll do it. So I owe him a message next week. Obviously, we want to make the Conor Benn fight, but that also is down to how long the situation would take with UCAD and how we're going to play it out with the board. So a couple of options for Kell, and put something together for him next week.
June 3rd coming around quickly for Conor Benn. Any update on when presumably the Eubank fight would be announced?
Yeah, I mean, we hoped to announce it this week, but I think next week is more realistic in terms of Conor's next fight. Ongoing negotiations with Chris Eubank. No deal reached yet, but it's a great opportunity for him and a lot of money. And we'll have to see what plays out the next couple of days and next week.
A fighter I want to ask you about, Regis Prograis came out and said he's now a free agent across the board. Will you be looking to work with him?
Yeah, we'll definitely have chats with Regis. I mean, his manager's Keith Connolly, who we get on very well with. I think Regis is a great fighter. We had him on our show before when we did Josh Taylor against Regis Prograis. He's now captured a piece of the £140 title. I think he's been awfully promoted over the years. I mean, he has very little profile for a guy with his ability and his personality. So that's something that we'd look to work on ASAP, raise his profile and get him in the big fights. You've got so many fighters coming into the £140 division. Obviously, Ryan Garcia will be up there, Tank Davis, Devin Haney will be moving to 140. Who knows, even Shakur in time as well. Plus, you've got all of our team as well. Stevie Spark, Liam Paro, Jack Catterall as well. So, for us, we're very healthy in that division, and Regis Prograis is a fantastic champion, and we'd definitely like to be part of those discussions.
Another fighter I want to ask you about, Gennady Golovkin. It's quite quiet on his front. We've heard from some people who might be taking a break from boxing. You've worked with Gennady a lot. Any indication as to what he's doing? Have you had any talks?
Not really. I mean, I know he vacated both his belts, and I just feel that sometimes you need clearer direction. He's got a great team of people around him, but no one really steering the ship, and I think for Gennady, he can do whatever he wants. He's also used to making a lot of money, and maybe that kind of money is not there anymore. But I love the Jaime Munguia fight. They've both been working on the DAZN platform. I think it's a great fight. Obviously, neither of them are signed to me. So I'm just saying it as a fan. I think that's a great fight for DAZN. And hopefully we see Gennady Golovkin back in the ring, because he's a tremendous fighter and a great entertainer.
Last one. We're coming close now to Tank Garcia. Massive fight for boxing. As a boxing fan, though, who wins and how, in your opinion?
I've actually changed my mind on it. I've always felt that Tank wins that fight, but I'm actually starting to go towards Ryan Garcia. He's definitely the outsider in the fight, but I think he punches very hard, and it's just the people that I speak to in the game who know, I'm talking about fighters mainly, who know them quite well, Devin and Shakur and just people like that, and they seem to give Ryan Garcia a lot of chance in this fight, and they know him, they've known him, he's had 200 amateur fights. Can't wait. It's exactly the kind of fight that boxing needs. Fair play to both. Let's hope they both make it in the ring. And we can see a great fight on April 22nd. It's a massive night for DAZN, with Cordina Rakimov, great card in Cardiff, and then going on to that fight. So I'm just going to go a sneaky feeling for Ryan Garcia.
That's what Robert Garcia said to me yesterday as well. We'll leave it there already. Thanks as always for making time for ID Box. We'll catch you.